Good day, my viewers. I welcome you to our continuation learning of science and mathematics subjects. What subject are we going to look at today? We are going to look at biology. And what is the topic we are going to discuss in biology today? We are going to be looking at the characteristics of living things. Did I hear you? Characteristics of living things. When we say characteristics of living things, what are the characteristics of living? What are the things that you see that a living thing normally perform, normally do, carried out? That's what we call characteristics. What is common to living things, either plant or animal? So this is what we are going to be looking at under this section, which I call characteristics of living organisms. In the last class, we talked about the introduction to biology, where we define biology. We said that biology is what? The study of living organisms. Study of life. Bio means study of, it means what? Life. And the logos means what? Study. When you join bio and logos together, you have a study of life, study life. So that's what we call biology, study of living organisms. And we look at the branches of biology: zoology, botany, morphology, ecology, and the rest. These are the things we discussed during the last class. And we look at briefly the career prospect. If you want to study, if you want to do the job, whichever one you can do with the knowledge of biology, or the career that require the knowledge of biology. Either in medicine, you want to be a medical doctor, you must be grounded in biology. You want to be a nurse, you have to know biology. If you want to be a dentistry, you have to be a dentist, you have to know about what? Biology. So biology is a subject that tends to cover all these areas. And so we have some other areas that require the knowledge of biology. Having said that, let us look at our learning objective. As we normally do on this channel, we look at our learning objective, which are going to be a guide on what we are going to talk about in this channel, in this topic today. What are the learning objectives? We have two main learning objectives. And then on the board, we are going to look at characteristics of living things. We will list them out. And then number two, we explain briefly on each of these characteristics of living things. After we have listed them, we are now going to briefly talk about each of these characteristics. Let's go over them. Now, living things. I am an example of a living things. When you look at me or you look at ourselves, what are the things that we normally do carry out? We breathe in. We eat. We move from one place to another. These are some of the things that we carried out. So this gives us an idea of the characteristics of living things, the things that we do. If you look at plant too also does some things, so which belong to the characteristics of living things as well. Let's list the characteristics of living things. One of them, I give it an acronym called Mr. Niger Card. Mr. Niger Card. You can use the acronym Mr. Niger Card. Anytime you remember Mr. Niger Card, it will give an idea of the characteristics of living things. What does each of these letters stand for? Okay, if you look at M, our M here means what? Movement. M stands for movement, which some people call what? Locomotion. R stands for what? Respiration. Okay, our N stands for nutrition. Okay, our I is for irritability. Irritability, ability to respond to stimulus, changes of environment. Our G stands for growth, our letter G. Our E stands for excretion. Excretion. Okay. What about the second R? Our second R stands for what? Reproduction. Let's put it there. R for what? Reproduction. Reproduction, giving back to young ones alive. And then what? C stands for competition. Competition, struggling for survival. A stands for adaptation. Adaptation. And our D, the last one, stands for death. That's the last thing that will end either plant or animal. Later on, death will come in. Yeah. So before we go to that, let us now take each of, we have listed them. Let us now explain briefly each of these one. When we say movement, let's look at the movement. Movement have to do with what? Locomotion. Locomotion, ability to move from one place to another, maybe in search of food, in search of greener pastures. I can move from one place to another. That's what we call what? Movement. Ability to move from one place to another for a particular purpose, maybe for food, for shelter, name it. We human beings carry out what? Movement. What about plants too? Plants also carry out what you call what? Movement. Maybe moving of certain part of their body. They may not easily move from one place to another, which means that the part of their body is also moving. So living things carry out what is called what? Movement, one way or the other. And the second one is called respiration. Respiration has to do with what? Breathing in of gas, especially oxygen, for breaking down of food substances in order to release energy. You know, energy is what we need to perform our daily activities tasks. So when you breathe in this oxygen, it helps along the breaking down of food substances in order to release what? Energy. That's what respiration can call that one. What about nutrition? Some people call it what? Feeding. Nutrition means what? Taking in of nutrients for growth and development. So nutrition have to do taking in of nutrients for growth and development. Also related to get what? Energy. Nutrition. We have different types of nutrition. Holozoic nutrition and then heterotrophic. Holozoic is synonymous with plants, but heterotrophic nutrition have to do with what? With animals. Okay, so plant carry out nutrition, animal also carry out what? Nutrition. What about the next one, which I call irritability? Irritability simply means ability to respond to stimuli, ability to respond to changes in the environment. If there is too much sun in a particular place, your body will tend to react at times. If there is a chemical, you perceive an odor, your body tend to react. So stimuli, these are some of the things that happen to living things. We respond. Either plant also responds to stimuli. That's what we call geotropism and then what? Either phototropisms and the rest. These are what we call what? Stimuli. Plant carry out irritability, animal also carry out irritability. That's what we are saying. The next one, which I call growth, this is what? Increase in size. Increase in size of an organism. Due to when we have taken food, we have eaten, we have done so many things, our body will tend to increase. Plant also increase in size. The way the plant you planted maybe 3 weeks ago may be different. The way you see that about what? 3 months later. We to human being, the way we are when we are 5 years at the toddler age, and when we are teenager, we are like adult. It varies. So growth takes place in living things, either in plant or animal. Okay. And the next one you call excretion, which I call removal of waste product of metabolism. Removal of waste product of metabolism. What are metabolism? Metabolism have to do with what? Catabolism and anabolism. Building up and breaking down. Anabolism. Anabolism. Building up. And then catabolism. Breaking down. So all these activities, either catabolism and anabolism, at the end of the day, food is being broken down and the waste products are being removed. So excretion is another topic for another day. Okay, having said that, what about reproduction? Reproduction means that the giving back to young ones, new ones. Okay, giving back to new ones, young ones alive for continuity of life. Why do you have to carry out reproduction? So that life can continue, for continuity of life. That's why we carry out what? Reproduction. So reproduction is another characteristics of living. Of what about competition? Competition. This has to be the when there is a competition, when there is a struggle, there is a struggle for survival, which cause survival for the fittest. When two things are competing, either human being also compete, plant also compete in terms of what? Resources, in terms of food. So which leads to survival of the fittest. That's what we call competition. Competition tends to set in. What about another called adaptation? ability to live in your environment we call adaptation. Okay, that's what we call adaptation. Ability to live in your environment, to survive, to adapt. And then the last thing which I call what? Death. So either plant or animal, after some time later, death surely comes in, which is the end of everything. So that's what we are saying. So we are able to see all the characteristics of living things, which I call Mr. Niger card. M for movement, R for respiration, N for nutrition, I for irritability, G for growth, E for excretion. The other R is for what? Reproduction. C for competition, E for adaptation, and D for death. These are some of the things you can see that happen to living things. So having said that, we are able to achieve all our learning objectives. We have listed the characteristics of living things, and we have talked about briefly on each of these characteristics. So this is where we are going to stop today. In the next class, we are going to dive in more in the sense that we are going to look at another interesting topic, in the sense that we are going to look at classifications of living things, which call taxonomy. So how living things are being classified. We have the kingdom, we have the what we call the class, we have what's called the order, we have the what we call species, we have what called the genus. So these are some of the under the classification, different types of the kingdom. I think we have 5 main types of kingdom. So we are going to talk about them in the next class. I say that as usual, kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel. Subscribe. Why? So that you can be able to see all the other subjects we talk about. In this channel, we talk about mathematics, we look about physics, we look about what chemistry, and then what mathematics beside this biology. So you see all the topics we have done. Just subscribe so that you can be able to see more other topics. So till we meet again, I still remain scientifically intelligent. Bye bye.